Cool. How many people, Tess?
Hold on, we've got 123 at the moment.
Cool. Okay, I'm going to start. Please, hi Sichle. Please mute your mics. A very warm welcome to everyone. I see there's a lot of our Ocean Basket friends also joining us. Today is about people, as you saw on the invitation. We've obviously had mixed messages about UIF payments. So one of my colleagues who heads all that up for us at Ocean Basket, Stiaan, he attended that was facilitated by Fedhasa, and he gathered a lot of information. So we thought, let's just share it with you. And then the second thing is the Bargaining Council in selected areas wants to implement their May pay increases, but Stiaan will explain how it works and how we apply for exemption. So before I introduce my amazing colleague, I just want to remind you, those of you who are new to the restaurant collective, welcome. It is free. It's only for sit-down restaurants. That means you've got to have waiters and tables and chairs. And it was just started by a couple of us, Natasha from Tasha's and myself and a few other crazy people who thought that we need to pull together this fragmented industry. We also have Desmond from Signature Restaurant in Morning View on our team, and Andrew for Famous Brands. So our objective is really to share whatever knowledge and information we all have and to ultimately upgrade the industry. I'll give you some news on how far we've gotten so far. We are working with the Tourism Business Council of South Africa. Natasha and I met with the chairman, Blackie Komani, and Nick was also there. Nick from Vuyo's in Vilakazi Street. We met with them at 1 o'clock. And we are going to be participating in a meeting with the tourism department people on Thursday. We're going to be presenting our SOPs, a video that we are busy going to do tomorrow at Vuyo's restaurant to show how we are concerned about people's health and safety and all the work we're going to do to keep everybody safe. So we've been embraced by the Tourism Business Council, which is great news. The other piece of news is that we're also making applications to the, Jean, help me, what's the name of those other people? Jean, the business, who are those people who deal with like the retailers and that? What are they called? Help me, Stiaan. I can't, I'm learning all this. Consumer Goods Council. That's it.
Yeah, yes,
so through an amazing relationship with Bitfoods, the Consumer Goods Council are also now considering putting our case forward. So we are working really hard and there are a lot of people listening to us. And I think the thing that they are really appreciating is we are not whining and complaining and wanting to fight with people. We are taking action and we're putting out messages that saying we are ready and we will support the sit-down restaurant industry no matter where you are in South Africa. And we've got lots of plans which we'll share with you once they're approved. But we're going to be involved in training restaurant owners through Zoom. We're going to use our own accredited trainers. We're going to be doing lots of stuff. So I just wanted to give you a quick update on the last few days' work. And now we'll just spend about half an hour where Stiaan will share the screen. He's going to tell us about the UIF and then about the increases for the Bargaining Council and what to do. After this, we will load a step-by-step guide onto our website. So Tessa will put it up under resources. And yeah, in the meantime, as you have questions, just use your chat section because that's really productive. And then my colleague Claire is capturing questions. If there's anything specific, we'll respond on the website or put some responses on the WhatsApp group. We're just figuring out all these channels and how to use them. So that's the update from me. And I'm going to hand over to Stiaan now.
Thank you, Grace. Hello, everybody. I see there's about 140 odd guys, people on the Zoom. So that's fantastic. So I'm just trying to share my screen here. Tessa, if you can please allow me to. Can everybody hear me? Can I just get a thumbs up? You don't have to unmute, just to see if you can hear me.
It should be set now. You can use it.
Thanks, Tessa. Okay. Just give it a few seconds. Can everybody see my screen? Tessa, can you maybe just say yes, no on behalf of everybody?
Yes,
Yes,
thank you.
we can see your screen.
Okay, fantastic. So just to start, before I start and go into it, I just want to mention that the topics that I'm going to touch on now is mainly UIF and TERS and the Bargaining Council. If there's anything relating but a little bit off topic, you're more than welcome to pop a message on the little chat, and then Claire will have a look at it for me and just let me know. And then if we've got time at the end, I will quickly touch on that. Okay, so let's get into it. And the slides might take a few seconds to load on your screen, so just bear with it. A bit of background where the information comes from is last week we had a sit down with the head of communications for the UIF, where they participated with in support with FDASA to say this is the challenges that everybody's facing. Can you please answer us directly from your channels? And my feedback to Grace afterwards was, even though the answers we got after that was not as concrete and satisfying as we would love for it to be, the source of the information was good. It was from the UIF. It was not from a third party. It was not from a lawyer or a broker or anybody. It came directly from the UIF. And from sitting with them, you can understand that they are under severe strain. You can very quickly see it. And they did explain, they did say that they've got a lot of stuff, that's issues that they're sorting out and that they are aware of. And the more we raise the concerns, the more they know of the concerns. So even though we think we're bombarding them with moaning and groaning, that's also sometimes a good thing, because then they can see where the system is lacking. So I'm going to touch on three main stuff with UIF and TERS. The first one is non-payment of foreign employees. I see on the chat that there's quite a few of you that is struggling with that. Non-payment of South African employees. I see also there's a few of you that just wants me to chat about that. And then just a general TERS update and May applications, June applications, and the changes that they brought out this week. I'm just trying to get the little chat box open here on my side. I say I can't. Okay. So first of all, the non-payment for foreign employees. There's an assumption out there that the UIF does not want to pay foreign employees. And the very first thing that the UIF head of communications told us is that is not the case. What happened is the system that they're using was taken from the normal standard system that they use for other UIF claims. And when they copied and pasted, for lack of better word for it, is the software itself could not pick up more or less than 13 digits. So it could not read a passport number or a permit number. It could only read a South African ID number. For that reason, it kicked everybody out. And how they explained it, it makes sense. How they explained it is the system from start to finish is automated. There's minimal human intervention in the system. So from start to finish, it is an automated system running right through. So if the system kicks out a number because it's wrong, there's not a human that can pick it up and say, oh, no, wait, go back, something is wrong. So right at the end of the process, you figure out that something is not lacking. And that's where companies saw on the payment schedule that these guys are not paid. It's right at the end. And then we raise it to UIF, and then they must go and investigate. So because of this And because of the lack of payment to foreign employees, the UIF is collaborating with SARS and Home Affairs because they've got a database of all the foreign employees in South Africa. They've got the list, they've got the database. So now UIF wants to pull from that database, which I think is a brilliant idea. So at the moment, they are busy almost catching up to April to verify with Home Affairs and the like. For May, it will be built into the system according to them. And then, so basically it will be built in for May, June, and for April, they are still verifying. So it takes a long time. It's very slow. As you might see, it trickles in. And it might be that some of your foreign staff gets paid before others because it is on a list. It goes as it is verified by Home Affairs and by SARS. The other thing is that you need to consider as well is they might have the details on Home Affairs side, but not on SARS side. So they have to check and verify with both portals. So it might take a little bit longer for some than others. The only thing to do here, the guy that hosted the webinar, Leon, said, asked, what can we do from our side? And they said, there's not a lot that you can do, but wait. If after they say, everybody's been verified, everybody's been cleared, and everybody should have been paid, and your staff is still not being paid, then you can raise a query to say, listen, after listening, after waiting, my guys are still not paid. Then we can raise a question. We asked how to, and they said they will give us a little bit more guidance on how that channel will work because the current communication channel between companies and the UIF is almost non-existent. Okay. Then coming to non-payment of South African employees. So yeah, they said because the UIF and U-filing is two different systems, and it is confusing. Because the UIF system runs on a database, and that database pulls from U-filing. So a lot of us don't know U-filing, and a lot of us do know U-filing and has been doing U-filing every month for the last couple of years. So because some of the South African-based or born employees are not paid, it's because the sync between U-filing and UIF is something is not lacking. So what does that mean? So basically what it means is if your South African employees was not paid, your first step is to go check your U-filing. Because I am sure out of the 140 odd people on here at the moment, who of you knew about U-filing? I'm not going to ask you to answer because honestly, a lot of us did not know that you have to keep U-filing that updated. So your very first step is go check your U-filing. Go check if all the data is done correct. Your declarations is done for the past 12 months. Go make 100% sure because that syncs with UIF at the moment. And the last sync that was done was Sunday night at 12 o'clock. So if you've updated your U-filing in the last week to try and get something working, they did do a new sync on Sunday night, meaning on Monday morning that individual employees could start running through the system and you can expect payment for them in the next couple of days. They said in the week of the 25th. I think that is very optimistic, to be very honest with you, but they said in the week of the 25th. Give it about a week and a half. Again, keeping in mind the strain that the system is under. I know it is very hard and it's very, very, you have to give feedback to your employees and they ask you the question. So honestly, I do understand that. But if you think about it, it's millions and millions of employees that is waiting for payment. So it might take a couple of days extra. With the foreign employees, the payment as well, again, they said it should be done by the 27th of May. They were very specific with this date. They said it's 27th of May. Again, I put in brackets there, it's an estimation. It's very optimistic to think that they will be ready in 3 days to pay out all of the foreign employees. As a confident on the day. They said to us, by the time we had the meeting with them, about 150,000 foreign employees have been paid via the verification with SARS and Home Affairs. So it is working, it is just taking a bit more time. Then, for that to, then just a very quick TERS update. On my applications, they said it will be opening up today. I checked about an hour ago, it's still not open. So again, maybe today, tomorrow, but they said no later than this week. Again, I'm stressing that even if they give you a date, give it about lean days of 1 or 2 days, or maybe 3. Why it's taken this long, and you must appreciate this, is that they are trying to get the system working for May. All the shortcomings from April. They're trying to build in all of this new algorithms and stuff, all this verifications of passport numbers and payments and everything. So they're trying to better it for May, and that's why it's taking a little bit longer. They do say there that payments will not be done to employers, it will be done to employees directly. So you must make 100% sure that you've got up-to-date banking details for all of your employees, very important. And you should have it, because in April they also did ask for it on that sheet. So some of you did already confirm it. Then what they said is for the TERS update for May is because, so what they said is, because we are taking so long for the May applications to open, please don't include your funding in May's payroll. So for some of us, a lot of us, payroll is already run and already paid. So what they said is don't include it on payroll. Pay it as a separate payment, because you are not sure the amount that you're going to get or if you're going to get. And for you not to, you're not going to balance on your payroll if you pay that and you don't get UIF funding. So be careful for that. My recommendation is do not include it, do it as a 2 payment, and then just recon the 2 payments with each other. That's the 3 updates for UIF and TERS. And basically, it is information that most of you have heard. I'm sure you've heard it through the grapevine, through the press, through a lot of reports. But again, I just want to stress that this came from the UIF themselves. It's not a third party. This came from them. So for the payment for foreign and SA employees, it's a waiting game at the moment. I know that's not the best advice, best feedback, but it's a waiting game. If we wait till the 1st and you still don't have, by then, hopefully we will know the channels that we need to follow to communicate with them better. Because one of the feedback that FEDASA said is a lot of the complaints is company specific, and it's not general, it's company specific. It's for you to help me as a company because I have a problem on my company account. And they did acknowledge that, and they did say that they will consider making a platform where you email a specific email address with your company station number, and they will allocate a consultant to look into your specific query. Most of the time, your query will be resolved in half an hour. And that's the idea of doing it more specific to your company so that they can open up the case, quickly solve it, and go on with it. I'm hearing somebody. Hello?
I've unmuted them. I'm sorry, I've muted him.
Okay.
Yeah, just carry on, Stiaan.
Okay. So that's basically UIF in a bucket. We can do questions. Claire, I can't see the question box here on my screen because I've got like.
But don't worry, let Claire collect the themes, and then if there's time, she can tell you what each theme is.
Yeah.
Because a lot of the questions are quite similar.
Yeah.
And then whatever's left over, you can scan it, and then we can put some stuff on WhatsApp or on the website.
Yeah, I think, Grace, you did say that afterwards this will be shared. Everything that I'm going to go through now will be shared for you to have a read through as well. Okay, so let's go to the next one. So the Bargaining Council minimum wage. So this is almost creeped up on everybody to say is to say that you have to increase the national minimum wage or sector minimum wage. Very important to note here, it's not national minimum wage, it's the sector minimum wage. And it is determined by the Bargaining Council's main agreement for the restaurant, catering and trade allies. So not everybody will be affected by this. There's two criteria that I will do next. But basically what this means is that the sector minimum wage is increasing from the 1st of May. This is not something new. This is an agreement that was signed in 2018 because the Bargaining Councils, as you might know, negotiates 5 years in advance. So this was done in 2018 and it's just going into effect from the 1st of May. It seems that the Bargaining Council has taken note of COVID and the impact it will have on the agreement, but they have not yet sat and discussed what they're going to do. I don't know why, nobody can say why, but that is what it is. So, because there was no formal communications from the Bargaining Council, the minimum wage will be effective on the 1st of May. So you have to then implement the minimum wage, which is about a 7% increase from last year. But they do offer companies to apply for an exemption from the collective agreement or part thereof, meaning only a section. We will comply with annual leave, we'll comply with everything else except for this. And for an instance, this means the minimum wage. And I think we can all agree why it is a question, why we're asking not to implement the minimum wage. Okay. But first, let's quickly check if you need to apply. So only if you are in these areas. Quickly have a very quick scan. This is only applicable if you are in these areas. If your store, your business is in these areas. If it is not in these areas, you are not affected. You might be affected by another bargaining council, but that's all determined on if in that sector or area or region there are a main agreement. This is the biggest one in South Africa. The BCRC is the biggest one in South Africa for sit-down restaurants. So that's why we are focusing on this one. So that's the areas. If you're not in that, don't have to worry. If you are in that, then it is applicable to you. This is not only for union members, but applicable to all your employees. The extension to non-parties was given in 2018 by the Minister of Employment and Labour. So it is for all of your employees, even though you are not unionized. Very important. Some companies think, but I don't have an active union, so I don't need to comply. You do need to. Fine. But getting back to the exemption, how to apply. I know there's companies that support and assist for you to assist you to apply for this exemption, but what we thought doing is to show you how easy it is. It is very straightforward. Some of us has got more time on our hands now, so the biggest part of this whole process is to collect paperwork. That's basically what it is. So we all have a little bit more time, so we can do it. So it's very simple. Okay, so what I've done for you guys here is I've done you how to apply for the exemption from the sector minimum wage in 7 easy steps. It's very easy, very simple. Now quickly, I'll just run through it. It's very self-explanatory. You can quickly read through it when we send it through. Okay, first of all, and most probably the most important, and that is why it's first, is talk to your employees. In South African labor legislation, consultation is the biggest part and is the most important part of anything you do. So the first step is talk to your employees. Make sure they understand why you're going to apply for the exemption and why it's necessary to apply for the exemption. Some of them, if not most, already knows it is very tough out there. Some of them understands why their salaries has been coming from UIF. So the conversation should not be a shock to them. It should not be a surprise to them. But still, you need to have a discussion or collaboration. If your business is larger than 50 employees, maybe do a sample group, maybe do 10 employees that will represent the rest, and you just have a chat with them or go into conversation with them. When you do that, in whatever form you do it, please keep the proof. So best to do, the easiest to do is to type out a letter on your letterhead and let the people that is there just sign to say, like attendance register. You can sign on the letter that you discussed with them. That will be important for later. Then step 2 is get the help guide and application form. If you click on that, you will get it. We will give it to you as well. What we've done is a help guide to fill in the application form. Sometimes the application form can be more complicated than it has to be. Then step 3 is fill in the application form, use the help guide that we will send you. And step 4 is the biggest one and the most admin intensive. And the thing that will take the longest is making sure you've got all the supporting documentation. So to give you an idea of what the bargaining council will look at if they have your applications, it will highly likely be a quick process, a couple of days, 7 to 10 days. But what they want to see is, and it makes sense, it's logical, is they want to see the reason why you're asking for it. So if you think for yourself, what is the reason I'm asking for this exemption? You've got 4, 5, 6 topics popping up in your head at the moment. So that is exactly what you just need to put formally on a letter, company letterhead, everything. So you just need to motivate why are you asking for an exemption? Because of COVID. We all know that, but go into detail, as much detail as humanly possible. So you will have your application form. I recommend you put 6 months of payroll data. Why? Because you will see 6 months is a good period to see that it went normal and then there's an extreme dip. So that is what they want to see. And I think that is what we want to try and show them. It's not because we're funny, it is because there's a pandemic and we physically don't have the money. So your payroll reports will have a nice clear picture of that, and getting a payroll report should be easy. I hope it is easy for you to get. It should be. Then the letter motivating, you'll see on the application form, there's a space where you fill in the motivation. You can fill it in or do it on a separate letter where you can type a letter, 2 pages, 3 pages, whatever it might be. Some pointers, what you can include is, when did you close down? Are you open for deliveries? What impact did that have? Are you applying for tours? When do you expect to open again? You can think for yourself, what can motivate for me not to pay the new minimum wage? And I feel it's fairly easy to do it at the moment. Financial information, why I separated that from payroll is because payroll will obviously not include operational expenses. It's good to show them what your business health looks like. Meaning, except for payroll, is I still need to pay rent, I still need to pay utilities. There's no money coming in, but there's still money going out. I'm lending from this bank. I am disinvesting this thing I have. So show them as much information to make your case, because it will save you a lot of money in the next couple of months. Then I also thought a nice thing to include is your budget that you had for 2020. Again, hopefully we have that. Why that? Because then you can show what you thought you're going to have as income and expenditure and what actually happened. Again, it just paints them a picture. If we can show them in pictures, that's good. Keeps it simple. Proof of communication to your employee. So remember step 1, you just need to submit proof that you've spoken to them. And then if you are unionized, you need to include their contact details and proof of communication to them. So ideally, if we jump back to step 1, when you talk to the employees, if you are unionized, you have to involve your union when you talk to them. So then that's 2 fleas at once. So you talk to the employees and you've consulted with your union, just include that into the application. But then you then send the application. This is the address you have to send it. You can either fax it or post it. There's no email address box that will get it, and I'm assuming it's because they need originals. Right? So you just send it to that. Why I did that is they say it will take approximately 14 days for the approval or rejection, follow up weekly. I always say when you want something, follow up weekly, because then you're at the top of the mind. If you email them or call them, they have to log it. So it will always keep jumping up in the ladder, and they will maybe, hopefully, you get it sooner. I'm not saying it will work, but maybe it does. Then step 7, you'll get your approval and rejection letter. If you get it, please keep it on file. And please do not lose it, because if we go back in a year's time where we need to go and comply with the minimum wage again, and there's then a gap in 5 years' time, and if somebody complains about it, you can always show that you've applied for it and you were given the exemption. Then just a little disclaimer at the bottom, the Bargaining Council does say that you have to apply the increase before you get an approval or rejection. It makes sense. So if you don't get your approval or rejection before the end of the month or before this payroll, please apply the increase, or I suggest you apply the increase until you get the approval or rejection letter, and then just revert back to last year's minimum wage. Then quickly going into the application form. So what I've done here for you is just a very quick help guide on how to fill in the application form. Very simple, it's 2 pages. Just highlights the address again. Just note here that the clause that we are asking for exemption is 5.1. You can ask for more if you want to. For instance, there's a clause about annual bonuses. You can apply for that exemption on that clause as well, or hours, or out of what is that, nightly allowance. There's a couple of conditions that you might be or might want to apply for to get out of, not out of, but get exemption from. We will send you a copy of the collective agreement as well if you want to have a read through it. Then just your company details. Very simple. How many employees you have. If you've got a union, you fill in this part. You'll have that, all of that details. Here's the reason or the motivation behind it. You can fill this a short summary in, but please apply the, supply that 2-page or 3-page or 1-page or whatever motivation with all the detail as well. That 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 lines will not be enough. So please do it in as much detail as possible. Paint them a picture. Then specify the period. Again, we don't want to overreach here. So we can't say for 5 years. We can't say for 3 years. I highly doubt that they will even give 12 months. So be realistic. Let's say 6 months, because we still can apply after 6 months again if this doesn't get better. If you're more comfortable, maybe do 12 months. What I suggest, what makes logical sense in my head, is we say we will apply the next year's minimum increase. So that means May next year. So we'll skip this increment and then just apply with the next one. Then as simple as an authorized person to sign. Why I felt necessary to put that in is don't just anybody sign. Please let an authorized person that is able to sign it for you. Okay. Then getting back to the thing, that is basically just the steps on how to apply for it. It's very simple, very straightforward. All the documentation is here. All the documentations will be sent to you, including the collective agreement. Again, it is only applicable to some of you, not everybody. So just check if you are in one of the regions. And that's basically it to do with my story. So if
Stiaan, can I just ask a quick question? Are you going to share this? Are we going to share this by email?
We can do it by email.
Let's put it on the resources page on our website, Tessa.
Stunning. That's very easy to do. Okay, we'll do.
Yeah. That's much better. That we keep everything in one place.
Perfect.
We can do it on the website, or we can do it via WhatsApp. So we can do it on shared on WhatsApp as well.
Okay, that's fantastic.
Yeah,
Thank you.
And still decide. Yeah. So Claire, I don't know, have you picked up any themes that you want to quickly shout out now? She's still muted, yeah. She's saying, wait 1 moment, please. Your call will be answered. Give me 1 minute. Someone asked about faxes. How come a fax is an original? I don't even know people use faxes anymore, Stiaan. Did you tell people to use a fax?
No, so not to say that the fax is original. If you post it, it will be the original. But a very old way of doing it is to do a fax. They're still stuck in the old ages, and that is one of their recommended communication methods, basically. So not to say that it will be an original, but that is one of their ways of communicating. So if they say send me a fax, we too.
Yeah, Stiaan, okay, so they're old. Stiaan, please put up those areas again so people can just look at them while we're chatting. Do they pay the staff directly or the restaurants? There's someone here who said that seemed to be paying people directly, and will they pay e-wallets?
What are we talking about? TERS?
UIF, TERS, yeah.
It is very, very unlikely that they will be paid by e-wallets.
Okay.
I think at this stage, I don't know. I'm actually tired of Grant and their games, so I'm just so over it. He must just do what he needs to do. I don't understand why.
We can hear somebody talking to someone on the phone.
Gain's been blind copying me in this.
That's all right.
Put yourself on mute. Just a reminder to everybody that you can get maybe your accountant or someone to help you. But there's also been some other messages out there. If you ask labor consultants, they'll charge about 2,500 Rand. I mean, I think that's quite a lot of money. And I think if you follow these step-by-step guides, you should manage. So we're just trying to save you all some money that we don't have at the moment.
Yeah, it is, and just echoing guys, it is very simple. It is not too complicated. As I said, the most difficult part is to get that details. And to be very honest, you should have it already. You should be able to get your payroll report very quickly. Your financials should be fairly accessible, like management accounts or something. Your budget you should have. So again, it's not even difficult to get that.
Okay. Claire's ready. So Claire, we're just going to spend like 6 minutes on this, hey? Because there's time constraints.
Yeah, Grace, there's so many questions like under you filing, like everyone has a little different question. Stiaan, I have sent you, I have combined them under the themes, and I have emailed them to you and put them in the notes section, because there's lots of little questions and we might not be able to get through all of them anyway.
So I've got a good idea. Let Stiaan go through all the questions and just do another PowerPoint slide with the answers and attach it to the presentation that we'll put up on resources.
That's what I was confused.
Yeah, because otherwise it's going to be boring for some of us who have got different questions. And my grandfather had an ox wagon and a fax machine. Very funny. The website address, Tessa, it's just www.therestaurantcollective.coza.
Yes,
I think,
correct.
but
Yep.
Tessa will write it down for us. And then just as a last ask, if any of you have got any feedback for us, was it helpful? You know, is there anything else? Just please, would you write it in the comments column? It really helps us make sure that we give you what you need. And then a reminder that is it Thursday, Tessa, that Andrew's going to share some views on how to tackle landlords, some tips.
That's correct. That's going to be happening with Natasha and Andrew at 3 o'clock on Thursday. I'll send out a notification just after we're off this meeting so that everyone knows when it's happening.
Okay, thanks so much. And then everyone, please encourage your friends to join. We need lots more members because it also helps us gather data. And when we get to the point where we're ready to issue the SOPs and do the training, we really need access to people to schedule all this online training to get ready to open. Because that's what we're focusing on, is getting ready to open. Okay, I don't know. Natasha, are you there? I don't know if you want to say anything. Anyone else?
Well, I just wanted to sort of give people some positive news. We opened in Dubai 2 days ago in a mall. I can tell you that customers do not want any new normal. They hate that word, the new normal. They want the old normal. If we give them an environment where they feel safe, we are sterilizing tables. They don't feel like aliens that have arrived in a hospital, but they still feel, you know, that we're following protocols. I can promise you that people just want to come back into our spaces. So our main push now is going to be to try and put that case forward to say, we are responsible. We're all following all the protocols, which we're going to share with everyone and make all that information available. And please let us prove and give us a chance to show you that we can reopen successfully. And here's a case study in Dubai. We're doing it. And just some good news is that people cannot wait to get back into restaurants. They want to be out. Even at 30% capacity, we're doing really good numbers, guys. So I'm hoping we're going to have the same results in South Africa when we do finally open.
Cool.
Cool.
So thanks everyone, and we hope to see you on Thursday. Give Tessa a couple of hours to put everything on the resources page, and you're always welcome to email or WhatsApp. I try phone everyone back. Stay strong.
We've also put up a number of resources on the website. I've sent the link. It's under resources. So you've got lots of good stuff, and we're updating it as often as we can.
With the comments. Cool.
Cool.
Well done, Tessa.
Thank you, guys. Good luck. Fast pace.
Bye.
Cheers, everyone. Ciao.
You have a Zoom, right?
Yeah, with 150 restaurants.
Brilliant.
Yeah.